reason a brief ago, probable could be mentioned as if whether reason whether perhaps for whether minor rather of and other descriptions of a brief and then whether within whether with bracket mark and whether bracket marks of whether is the whether is the whether briefly and whether is the whether probable whether reason whether perhaps of brief and mention of and the word with the whether reason whether word with bracket marks of the reason their phrase and whether phrase of probable could be for whether reason and whether probable of and whether large phrase of the probable also could be of and whether reason there whether reason there of whether reason there of the probable to could be of and whether the probable also to could be of the probable also to suitable for whether the probable also to could be of and whether the probable from whether reason and whether perhaps from whether minor rather from whether reason and whether the probable to could be of the mention of whether reason and whether reason there mention of about can be the middle probable mainly of whether reason whether what reference to probable of the middleman concept of the sort of the usual mention and reason there is probable kind of as suitable mention of whether reason and whether and whether before for whether reason and whether there before for whether reason and whether at before thereof and whether reason and whether probable of the often mentioned which goes which the probable could be of whether reason that whether probable and whether with whether reason and whether probable probable the origin form if nope of whether reason whether perhaps or whether so if nope then whether reason whether another whether reason whether nope of then whether reason whether reason there 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 and whether reason there whether nope of then later archaeologists can find another flare. Why is the default way of how Armenians speak? They're dead beings. That's not how a person speaks English. That's not how what a person is. Their way doesn't add any new bonuses. And then it becomes because I'm denying there's bonuses. What the bonuses is it? Are we not sort of the most popular figures that accept lots of different diverse opinions? If it still becomes that's probably not a entity or whether a modernist puppet, and then that's left as that. It's not going to be therefore continue to pseudo reason with examples. Although sometimes it certain scans it to a level, it's better to give them a bit of this compliance interaction. So the whether reason whether probable whether reason whether probable namely of whether reason whether reason whether the probable of namely of whether reason whether probable namely of whether reason whether also whether reason the whether and whether perhaps of whether minor rather for whether reason the whether perhaps of whether instead of whether reason the whether first stuff for whether reason whether perhaps of whether first stuff and perhaps of whether first stuff whether reason whether and perhaps of whether minor rather of whether reason the whether reason there whether at first stuff. The weight of the issue is quite big. If there's no one wanting to be few or second, then why not I become the pioneer? Whether reason whether why not I pioneer force to be whether reason there whether perhaps whether reason whether proper for whether was watch. Numbe'es doesn't like peace. They're morbidly against the community. A monolithic hate group that the identical cancerous camouflages with whether it also presents they are sort of more potent than camouflages, even whether reason whether camouflages whether reason whether camouflages even whether reason whether camouflages or whether reason whether probable from whether camouflages, because these are actors. Whether reason there, whether probable, whether reason whether probable, whether reason there, whether reason there, and whether these are actors. Presents with different Walmart perils. This consumer, this planet has gotten to the number-based gluten bosses. It's gotten to a point that there's no more countries. The core had been infiltrated. It's not a Rohan versus works. It's not a work invasion, whether Rohan versus work invasion. There are numbers, whether 30,000, 80,000, 11,000, whether you reason whether 11, 10,000, whether reason whether 110,000. But the entire Rohan capital city, whether reason whether props of, and whether many of the Rohan cities, whether reason whether, and many of the Rohan cities have civilians there, and they can interact a bit. But they started all this differences. While this doesn't work on certain characters, it works on the majority. And when that group is also infiltrated, then it gets probably worse, right? Such is the situation right now. We have many sons of the cultists. Suppose it was a necropolis, it would be sensational in a way, because you still have darkness, you still have some beauty and quality. While it's slime, it's directly slime. This is probably the worst outcome, whether amongst the worst. It couldn't gotten any worse. That's how many of our guys died pure out of frustration of waiting for Jeebus, and Jeebus doesn't come with the signal so low. Maybe my destiny originally, whether the average value, whether the out of numerous possibilities wasn't to whether reason whether probable from whether perhaps from whether minor better of whether reason whether perhaps minor more better of whether reason whether perhaps and whether also whether reason whether perhaps from whether to a probable of was not to be sort of crusade for Europe, but now I sort of have to, because Europe certainly lacks the alpha male. The feminazis out there are quite distinctively bitter and hideous while they dramatize, they engineer themselves and goes mirror, mirror on the wall. Most can notice a mirror, but these get really into it, and the adverse effect arise out of it, whether the result from which can be quite drastic of a magnitude, and the reason there whether other mentions of whether description, whether other description, whether descriptions of probable clause. The description and whether descriptions will be continuous and from, and whether reason whether others, whether reason whether probable for whether reason whether props for whether minor others from other of whether reason whether props of whether minor other whether reason whether from others of whether reason sort of the version or the retrieval of whether the word whether reason word of there whether reason there whether we say version whether a version free of the word of there is proper to be. English is one language where it's being invented by the poor class. America was founded not by the European monarchs, it sort of began as this massive proselytism. This probably since then was a Nazism engineer, whether a Nazism hub. That's where the anti-Hitlerist crowd, this swoon, this plague wind came from. Reason there to each whether reason to overall whether reason there, whether just whether reason there, whether it could be quite providence mention of. As much as sometimes is not needed to mention it. If it's from Nazism to recommend, or if a terrorist is providing something, giving a gift, that's Nazism give probably also a terrorism associated gift. That's sort of not a terrorism, and not a gift at all. Whether that is almost the same thing as the inflections from Nazism entities. These will be probable, signable, whether technically also sign up, also whether reason, whether probable, whether matter, whether reason, whether probable, matter of will be set up to future whether reason, whether to next inflections. So for reason, whether matter to probable, also whether reason, whether to probable to real. To show the voice, it's like, let's wait for the guy with the voice. I noticed I can recruit people not through this before formality of having a thunderous speech. At first I sing a song, get the teenagers ready, and surely certainly within the groups that like these music there are many capable individuals. Notice the modern era, lots of the careers aren't even careers, they're sort of a different version of the same, whether similar, whether different version of the casino shield. Salespersons. And what's its work? None other than sales and dramatize, whether crowd dramatize, whether crowd introduce, and whether present, whether crowd present, whether reason, whether perhaps of whether reason, whether reason, whether probable, whether perhaps of whether reason, whether probable, whether reason, whether probable, and whether I first of crowd presents something more than such as downward, if not to sort of deny, because sort of to deny highlights a beacon towards it, whether deny something gives a bit of a highlight, whether sort of denies, usually the deny does more than not deny, sort of the opposite effect. May not be transendorsed with the reason mentioned there. The phrase does assignable to whether mention of whether reason, whether proper mention of becomes a bit of simultaneous of